I'm back with the glasses because Liverpool secure another big win against a very good Brighton side. And I'm going to break down the 5 things we learned from Liverpool's big 2-0 win over Brighton. And I'm going to do that because this is the channel that is all Liverpool all the time. It's all red. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing, guys. You've been killing the subscriber counts. Keep it up. Hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps the channel out immensely. Okay. First and foremost, I thought this was a really interesting stat. No Premier League team so far has created more chances, 197, or a higher expected goal tally, 30.2, than Liverpool this season. So take that for what it's worth. It's kind of a coulda, woulda, shoulda sort of thing because you got to put the ball in the back of the net at the end of the day, and Liverpool have not been doing that. But I think the trajectory is looking good, dare I say. So let's look at number 1 on my list. More midfielders for Liverpool means more control. Slot started 5 midfielders against Brighton, and I thought it brought a lot more structure and poise. Just look at the numbers here. Ahead of a Joe Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk, Kirk's back line, you had 5 midfielders in Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Florian Wirtz. And these guys really just kind of kept the tempo of the game in Liverpool's favor. Now, I will say, if it weren't for the one and only Hugo Ekitike, this could have been a different narrative because he put the team on his back and he put the ball in the back of the net twice. And that's what we've been missing. We've been missing someone who's just going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and say, "You're mine, I'm taking you home. Get in the car." Okay, and that's what Hugo Ekitike did today. Fantastic finish from a tricky pass from Joe Gomez, who assisted. Well done, Joe. Now he's injured, of course, but tricky take, and Hugo Ekitike took it really well. How about that? And then, of course, the pretty easy header, I'd say, from the Mohamed Salah corner. So Hugo Ekitike did well, but those 5 midfielders were fantastic, I thought, today. The entire team looked good. I'm not going to say they looked amazing, but they looked good, and it was a somewhat comfortable victory, which we have not had very much of this season. Number 2, I just talked about him. Ekitike is becoming world class. I'm not going to be the biased fan that says, Hugo Ekitike, he's the best striker in the world right now. He's scored 2 goals, so he's world class. I think he's very quickly approaching that moniker, and he's been the guy for Liverpool these past couple weeks, and really the entire season he's looked really, really good. I think, rival fans, was talking to a friend of mine who's an Arsenal fan. He was like, "Man, Ekitike's good. It looks so good, dude," and that's good. I think people are starting to notice, and just his strength. So for a guy of his stature, very tall, skinny, lanky, very strong. He was brushing off defenders, big defenders, and taking his chances very, very well. So he's scoring for fun right now for Liverpool. He is the main threat. He is the main threat for Liverpool, above and beyond Alexander Isak. And here's my thing. I was thinking about this today with Hugo Ekitike. He was the signing with the most to prove this summer. Because Liverpool fans, I'll be honest, didn't see that one coming. Isak, everybody wanted Isak, and Florian Wirtz was just this massive bombshell, and we were all just like, oh my goodness. Kirkes came in, team of the year last year. Frimpong came in as kind of the bargain at, was it 35 or something like that. And so Hugo Ekitike came in, probably knew that Liverpool were still going to pursue Alexander Isak. And I do think he came in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And I think we're seeing the fruits of that with how he's come in, and he's really taken that number 9 role from Isak, the most expensive Premier League player of all time, and Ekitike said, "This is mine. You're going to have to take it from me." I love that. And I can kind of see now, if we didn't have Ekitike this season, we'd be in big trouble, man. If we were solely relying on Isak, no bueno. Okay, number 3. Florian Wirtz is simply incredible. Okay, what was that? Was that supposed to be German? Stupid idiot. Florian Wirtz is simply incredible, okay? He's balling for Liverpool. Now, a couple times in that game, a little frustrating because he made some simple things look really difficult and kind of botched it. But I'm going to show you some of these stats, okay? Really fun to look at these. It's coming, guys. Florian Wirtz is about to deliver. Florian Wirtz versus Brighton, 100% aerial duels, 8 ground duels won, 4 out of 4 tackles won, 7 defensive contributions, 3 chances created, literally everywhere on the pitch. Sensational. 3 key passes, 36 passes, 3 long balls, 1 shot, 63 touches, 2 dribbles, 7 defensive contributions. Once again, 9 duels won, 9 recoveries, and 100% of his tackles won. Incredible. Only 4 players have won 8+ duels, had 8+ touches in the opponent's box, and 1 possession 8+ times in a Premier League game this season. And that is Florian Wirtz. His game by numbers: 9 duels won, 9 time possession won, 8 touches in opponent's box, 4 tackles, 3 chances created, 2 successful take-ons, 2 fouls won, and 1 shot. Florian Wirtz was sensational against Brighton, okay? Don't let anybody tell you he wasn't. So we got to talk about Curtis Jones, because I think Curtis Jones is now a must start for Liverpool. He has brought a new dynamic to Arne Slot's sides, and I think he's actually unlocked Florian Wirtz, okay? I think he has done some things on the defensive side to free up Florian Wirtz, and I think they're forming kind of this partnership to where you got to start Jones. Like, he has been so good, and I think he's brought some much needed control to this midfield. And he is functioning in that double pivot now with Gravenberch, and I think he's doing it really, really well. He had a very good defensive match against Brighton, and also just contributed quite a bit to winning the ball back and getting the ball into the right positions. For weeks before the last 2, maybe against Inter and now Brighton, Liverpool were so slow. They're still slow, but they were so incredibly slow. They would never skip a man in the pass. It would always just go player to player to player instead of skipping across and making those cutting passes. Now we're starting to see that, and Curtis Jones is one of the foremost in doing that, in surgically cutting through the defense with forward passes. You may have seen it this week, but everyone's talking about how Jones, I think in the Champions League, I think it was after the Inter match, he is one of the best looking midfielders in the Champions League this season. Incredible passing stats. I wish I had him to show you, but incredible stuff from Jones, and I think he has made himself a must-start player. Okay, final one, guys. Improving, but still not quite there. Liverpool are getting better, that's clear, but it still hasn't fully clicked. The football still isn't that great to look at, and I'm not complaining about a 2-0 win, because we need that. And you can win in unconvincing ways sometimes, but Liverpool are getting better. It's just not quite exactly there. We're not that world-class team that we saw glimpses of last season, but I think it's getting there. Now, the trick is going to be, can we keep everybody healthy? Because, players are just going down left and right. But if we can continue this improvement, if we can continue to make things click, to control games, to hopefully have 2 or 3 goal cushions like we did today for the first time in I don't know how long, Liverpool could do something. And there could be some light at the end of this dark tunnel. So I'm excited that we are unbeaten in 5 and now 2 wins in a row. That's a very, very good sign. But I'm not going to say we're winning the league now. I'm not going to say, we're definitely winning the Champions League. We're going to have to take it one game at a time and see what this team is able to do on a week-to-week basis. Now with no Salah for the next maybe month or so, things could get really interesting with what Arne Slot chooses to do. And, Salah was fine today, but ultimately there were just a few really key moments in that game that I thought Salah really botched. And I'll say the same about Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz had some really poor passes and poor touches. But it's clear this team, I think, needs a new identity. And I think we're going to get to see that a little bit over the next month. And I'm really excited to see what Arne Slot is able to do with this team. So, as always, get your comments in below. Up the Reds.